Back in Detroit, Seattle chasing the juggernaut Rams in the NFC West. Detroit's right in the middle of a wide-open NFC North. And right before we kick off the matchup of Seattle and Detroit, time to welcome in the fourth member of our crew. Here's Shannon Spink.
Hey there, Kevin. So the Lions woke up Thursday morning with a brand new teammate. Yes, that's right, all-pro defensive tackle Damon Harrison coming over from the Giants. Now, Matt Patricia was not specific as to how much playing time Harrison would see today. Now, we all know he's ready to play physically, but Patricia just respecting the fact that he's been through a whole lot over the last 5 days. But he's definitely brought a spark regardless of how much playing time he sees. In fact, Quandre Diggs all smiles when he told us he called Landon Collins at the Giants and thanked him for sending the big guy his way.
Big guy and a big impact expected from Damon Harrison.
The thing about Damon Harrison is he's playing nose guard and defensive tackle. You know, that's not a lot of thinking involved. Dominate the gaps beside you and push the pocket, so he can play about 50 plays if he can roll.
Downside for him is he lost his bye week with the trade. Here's Rashad Penny on the return for Seattle, and he won't get to the 20-yard line. Charles Washington on the stop. Russell Wilson making his way out. 76 career wins for the Seattle quarterback.
You know, Russell Wilson in the past couple of weeks has really turned, to me, Chris, into a play-action pass quarterback. It's almost exclusive now, obviously set up by the number of times they're running the football. We'll see the graphics later in this broadcast. 58% of the time they're turning around and handing it off, but it has really opened up the passing game off that play action.
You know, when your favorite play is no longer, hey, Russell, run around as much as you can in the backfield, find a hole to run or find a hole to throw.
Season high 6 rushing attempts for Wilson last week. He'd had 11 all year before that. And Carson on first down. With patience by Carson as he takes it out near the 27-yard line.
When you look at this Seattle offense, guys, it starts up front. Obviously, it's a cliche, but it's true. And no more important player here is J.R. Sweezy. I think his ability to lead this line and not let them be pushed around like they were earlier in the season has allowed that running game to really open up and blossom.
9 yards on that first run for Seattle. On 2nd and 1, it's Carson again. Finds a hole and finds a first down to the 32.
Well, they're not starting out like they want to start out because you just got 2 balls driven down your throat. So what you have to do is solidify that middle. So we'll see Damon Harrison in there in a little bit if they keep running the ball. The guy to benefit most from Damon Harrison's presence is number 40, Jared Davis. I know playing that position as linebacker, man, the bigger the pants, the happier I was in front of me.
Snacks is out there for the first time in the middle of that defensive line. Down at the 32-yard line. Carson's 3rd straight carry and runs right into the middle, and that middle not as open as it was a moment ago, just a 1-yard gain.
Yep. We're going to see this different fronts, right, Rondé? We talked about this, you and I, in our meeting. This is a bear front. It's a 3-3, so we got a guy on a 3 technique outside shoulder to guard, 3 technique outside shoulder to guard, and you got Snacks taking these 2 gaps. Now, the reason for that is when you get shredded, your first 2 plays up the middle, you reduce that front, you take away the middle run, and you force Russell Wilson there to audibilize. Make him think a little bit.
How does Snacks' entry into this game help them with that?
But just because he's so dominant inside, he can take 2 gaps. He's going to make a tackle right there, too. He just made the tackle again. That's a 5th-round pick. I'll take him all day. Watch him again. He's going to make the tackle. He uses his hands well. You say, you got 2 guys here, Rondé. You got 2 guys that he's responsible. He's going to handle, use his hands, not get driven off the ball, and he's going to make a tackle right on this one. This is what he can bring. Look at that.
Well, he splits the gap, He splits the gap and takes on the lead blocker and sheds and makes a tackle. I mean, there's a lot of impactful defensive linemen in the game, and a lot of them are pass rushers. But when you're looking for a dominant guy in the run game, there is none better than Damon Harrison.
3rd down and 7. Wilson to the air for the first time, looking for more on the sideline. Right in front of Teez. Tabor makes the catch and the first down to the 45.
How about David Moore, his ascension the past couple of weeks? We saw him in LA, caught 2 touchdown passes. And look, this matchup is not an easy one for Teez Tabor just because of the size. And look, this guy wants to work. He talked to Russell Wilson. He said he spent all offseason getting ready and ready to take his opportunity, most importantly, and they've really relied on him over the past couple of weeks.
So they're going to put a red X on tape, and that's the weakness right now. Just because of the youth, they're going to attack him.
Play action. Wilson will step up, pressure coming. Floats it out to Davis, and a good tackle by Quandre Diggs.
I'll tell you guys a little secret about playing linebacker, and we talk about play action. It's such a big part of Seattle's offense. Watch the offensive line. Their shoulders are all going to turn 90 degrees. There's going to be no step downfield. Right there, that tells linebackers and safeties that I have to not honor the run because they're not coming off the ball. The other thing on play action, guys, you can hear play action. When it's a run, Rondé, those big fat offensive linemen, when it's a pass, it's dead silent, man. It's dead silent.
You don't hear the pads clicking, don't you?
Second and 9 as Carson tries to find room up the middle. I want to go back to this, Chris, because you're in the middle of a domed stadium. You've got 70,000 people screaming. You're telling me you can hear when the linemen are grunting amidst the din?
So Cougs, right? Yeah, you can, because up front, you hear those guys snort and growl. You think you're a linebacker, so you're 2 yards away from a guy. So you can hear that. If you're a defensive lineman, you're 1 yard away from the guy. You can hear and feel play action. And as Rondé said, you feel pads, you hear pads.
3rd and 6, the 8th play of the drive as Lockett motions out of the backfield. He's in the slot now, top of your screen. Wilson, nobody open, under pressure. Russell Wilson in trouble. Wilson finally caught by Romeo Okwara, and it's 4th down.
I want you guys to pay attention to Romeo Okwara here. Like, you play a Russell Wilson, Chris, and you understand this too. You have to keep him contained. Watch him right here. Just watch him this entire play. A lot of times you get anxious. You want to chase the quarterback. Watch what he does right here. Take my time, take my time. I'm not going to let him escape out, because you know Russell Wilson likes to spin out and get down the field and create plays. Good job of that defensive front maintaining their pass rush lanes.
Guarantee you, Cougs, that was game plan. Stay upfield on Russell Wilson and don't let him spin out.
Brandon Powell, active for the first time this year, fields the punt at the 5-yard line with a flag down, and he's down just shy of the 10 in the arms of Akeem King. 48-yard punt and a 5-yard return with the flag down.
Brandon Powell getting a call up.
First game he's been active this year, the undrafted rookie out of Florida. He was a kick returner, a running back, a wide receiver for the Gators.
He had a really nice preseason for the Lions. And Rondé, we were talking about, eventually Golden Tate, although he seems ageless.
Yeah, he does.
We'll have to see if that's a potential replacement for Golden Tate as they move forward into the future.
And here's the penalty. You got to get touched to go out of bounds. Ran out on his own, Akeem King. That's the penalty.
Lions football. They'll determine what they want to do with the flag. The ball is currently just nestled inside the 10-yard line.
Player of the kicking team, number 36, went out of bounds on his own. That's a 5-yard penalty. Detroit has elected to enforce the penalty, and we will replay 4th down.
So they're going to re-kick because the football ended up inside the 10-yard line. Matt Patricia hoping for a little better field position here.
I think you're giving the punter a little bit more room to drop it inside the 10-yard line, wherever the mark was. I just take the 5 yards at the end and go ahead and live with that. But Matt Patricia has, I'm sure the guy has pencils and notebooks everywhere, so I'm sure he's got some idea.
Dean Blandino is with us in our Fox studios in Los Angeles. Dean, welcome. Got a couple of options there for Matt Patricia on that penalty.
Yeah, a couple of options. You don't see that call too often, but it's the gunner on the outside, and you can see he actually tried to initiate contact, but he can't do that. He has to be forced out of bounds to be legally out of bounds. Can't go out on your own. 2 options, re-kick or end of the play.
And it looks like the re-kick benefits the Lions. It'll die at the 18. They'll pick up about 9 yards on that exchange as Kerryon Johnson and the Lions making their way back out onto the field with the offense. Scoreless in Detroit as the Detroit Lions get started with Matthew Stafford. After that first week against the Jets, there were a lot of folks wondering what in the world was going on. But since then, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception for Matthew Stafford. And in the last 4 games, averaging about 240 passing yards per game as the run game has expanded with Kerryon Johnson running back. And Johnson gets the call on first down. Kerryon Johnson out to the 13. As we went to break, there was a hold against the Lions, and the Lions pushed back. That's why they're inside the 10 as we look at this Lions offense.
Nobody's happier than Matthew Stafford when they drafted Frank Ragnow, the rookie. You know, interesting, he's really improved. He's always been an outstanding run blocker, man, but he's really improved on his pass protection. Gave up 8 pressures. Of course, Golden Tate, we always know about him, but with Frank Ragnow, he gave up 8 pressures in the first 2 games and only 2 since.
Second and 6, Stafford to the air for the first time. A catch made at the 20-yard line by Marvin Jones and a first down.
You know, Chris,
tell us about the Seattle defense.
Yeah, when I look at this defense, Chris, Kevin, it starts with Frank Clark. I mean, he announced himself to the league. If you've been paying attention to Seattle, you know what he's been doing. He had a spectacular 2.5 sack game last week or 2 weeks ago before their bye.
Not much up the middle for Johnson this time. Bradley McDougald coming up to help out on the run along with Shamar Stephen.
Bringing in Kelso, getting KJ Wright back in the lineup for the Seahawks. Solidifies a lot of things. Obviously run, but I think where he helps his team most is in the secondary and there's pass defense. They're a big zone team. And KJ Wright has a natural feel. The thing I like about him in zone coverage, Cougs and Rondé, doesn't cover turn. He covers everything as far as turning zone into man. He does a good job of matchup, and he works well in tandem with the great Bobby Wagner.
On second down, Johnson looking for room outside, runs into the arms of Bobby Wagner.
You know what, I think another thing, Chris, is the communication. And they've been rotating guys through that position this year. Markevius Mingo has been the latest playing that stack linebacker position for KJ Wright. But he just has such an understanding. He's been playing it for so long. You talked about those zone drops. I don't think there's 2 better zone dropping linebackers in the NFL than Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. And we're going to see that on display this entire game.
Third down and 4.
Play a little bit of man now, right? 3rd, 4. Tighten it up.
Seattle's been very good on 3rd and 4 or less. They stop their opponents almost 60% of the time in this down and distance. Stafford looking. Oh, finds Golden Tate, who makes a nice move and gets the first down.
So much can be told about a receiver's alignment, his pre-snap alignment. You're going to watch Golden Tate, you're going to see where he's aligned. He's coming inside here so he can release across the field. To prevent any pick routes, they stack him on top of another wide receiver. You let him run free, then he get the ball in his hands where he can make the smooth transition from run to catch. That's what Golden Tate does best.
And you see he gets matched up on a linebacker, and that is an obvious mismatch that the Lions would love to have all day long.
Golden Tate a little slow to get up as he headed to the sideline with Garrett Blunt with his first carry, and Blunt to the 35.
Kevin, Rondé and I were talking the other day about trios of wide receivers. There's lots of great trios, right? You can make an argument of Golladay, Marvin Jones Jr., Golden Tate. The thing they do well, and I just saw Golladay do this on this last play, they run block. Golladay took an interior Seattle Seahawks guy and put him on his back on that particular play. They take a lot of pride in that, and that's another big reason why this running game has improved. Receivers blocking downfield and in the box.
Second and 8. Off play action now for Stafford. Stafford to the sideline and a first down across the 45. Levine Toilolo out to the 47, picks up 12.
Well, that's a guy you don't see catch a lot of passes for Detroit, but he's mostly an inline blocking tight end. But this is play action pass. This is what this Lions offense has really turned itself into because of the run game. And then when there's nothing down the field, there's only 2 guys really out in the route, but you always have an outlet. And in that play, it was Levine Toilolo. First down, Lions.
It's the 4th catch of the year for Toilolo. To your point about a guy who doesn't catch a lot. Toilolo motioning to the end of the line with Blunt, the running back, on first down at the 47. Tate in motion on the sweep. Golden Tate trying to get the edge, run out at midfield by McDougal.
It's your guy, Rondé. Bradley McDougal. Tell me about him.
I love Bradley McDougal. He's had to try to assume the position that Cam Chancellor dominated for all those years, and you're going to watch him right here. But look, this is a young secondary. You need a leader, and for me, it's Bradley McDougal. Look at him shed this block. You do jet sweeps in the league. You're trying to get to the edges, and if you have it blocked up, you usually have success. Not with a guy like Bradley McDougal. He brings a lot of energy, passion to this secondary. It's a great play there.
Carry on Johnson, nowhere to go this time. Deion Jordan, the first to get him. A loss of 1, back to the 49. Jordan back healthy after missing the Oakland game with a knee injury.
You're going to see Seattle play 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, and that's Barkevius Mingo, the strong side linebacker, usually lines up out there over a tight end, that under front, so to speak. It's when that linebacker's outside of a tight end there. Got to stop the run game. It wasn't successful in this LA game when they played a couple of weeks ago, and you're getting even better at it as the season goes on.
Brandon Powell into the game at the top of your screen.
There you go, Coops, right there.
3 receivers to the bottom. Stafford looking that direction, finds Golden Tate. First down at the Seattle 40 and down to the 39.
So one of the coaching tenets, a tent pole, as they like to say, until they stop it, you keep running it. So just out of a different formation, you get Golden Tate in space over the middle. He finds the area of a zone. He understands zone coverage and man coverage. Man coverage, he'll carry it across the field. Zone coverage, he'll sit it down. And again, Matthew Stafford and he are like on the same page. They're mind bleeding each other, or mind melding, or whatever mind thing they do. But it is what they do when they do it well.
I don't think you want to mind bleed anybody.
Or whatever.
That seems terrible.
You know what I mean.
Stafford looking down the sideline for Jones, a little too tall for Marvin Jones Jr. with Shaquille Griffin out there on the coverage.
Well, this is one of those premium matchups of the day. We know what Jones is as a receiver, but Shaquille Griffin, I think, has really come into his own as this left cornerback. This is the money position for them. You got to be able to play out here. Usually, Chris, because quarterbacks are right-handed, they look to this side of the field, but he had him beat there. A little bit better throw. That's an explosive play for this Detroit offense.
Tried to go all OBJ on him with the one-handed fall away. Physical corner. Get a jam.
Hey, Liz. Liz.
On 2nd and 10. Backside pressure from Clark. Stafford over the middle. He had Jones available, but he couldn't connect with him. Now 3rd and 10. So the first real challenging 3rd down here, and they're going to hustle to the line, trying to catch the Seahawks out of sync, but Walt Anderson, our referee, says everybody gets the substitute.
Yeah, Matthew's upset about that because he wanted to get it in and get going. You see him look at Walt Anderson, and now Patricia was giving it to Walt Anderson on the sidelines. Might want to take Golden Tate away here.
Hold.
3-man rush for the Seahawks. Pressure coming. Stafford ducks away. Reloading and firing. Jones in the end zone. Caught it. Touchdown.
Playing cover 3. One rule when you drop 8. You made a great call on a 3-man rush. You drop 8. Here's the rule. Deep is the deepest. Never anything behind you. Matthew Stafford's done this for a long time. There's no panic in the pocket.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's an escape artist just like Russell Wilson on the other side. And if you're a DB here, Tedrick Thompson, you're going to see him coming to your screen right here. He just kind of stops on the play. And Marvin Jones keeps streaking. One shot to find that angle from the back end of the secondary. And if you don't, you're beat. Big play, touchdown, Lions.
That's a perfect example, guys, of when you're in zone. You don't cover grass or turf. You cover a man. You transition from your zone coverage to man coverage, and never deep is the deepest when you're dropping 8.
7-0. Detroit. Matthew Stafford's 13th touchdown pass of the year. The 4th caught by Marvin Jones Jr., capping the 13-play, 91-yard drive. Another look at the touchdown, but first, look at Matthew Stafford. He thought he was done. Uh-oh. Now he's all right, and he realized I can throw a deep one.
I think he was just hiding. I didn't think he was bracing for it. I think he's just hiding amongst all those big blue jerseys in there.
I'll tell you what he did a great job of, Chris, is coming out with his eyes downfield. He knew he had to play somewhere, and he found it to Marvin Jones.
His eyes were down on the field a few seconds earlier. He thought he was about to get squished. Rashad Penny will watch that one bounce, and the Seahawks will take the touchback. Time to check in with Carissa Thompson at our Fox studios in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Kevin. Jets, Bears in Chicago. Mitchell Trubisky dumps it to Tariq Cohen, who does the rest. 70 yards. Cohen's fourth straight game with the touchdown. He's got his team up early, 7-0. Kevin?
Carissa, thanks. North standings, you've got Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, all in one big mess right now in the NFC North. Anybody's division right now.
The Saints coming up for a revenge game against the Vikes tonight from last year.
First down, Carson with a burst in the hole to the 30-yard line.
You know what that was, guys? That was zone read. So I'm just telling you this because Russell Wilson will pull the ball. He's not pulling it as much, and I can promise you that Matt Patricia has prepared this defense to play the zone read. And how you play the zone read, one man always has to be accountable for Q run, quarterback run. So they'll come back to that, and Seattle, they're really effective running that in the red zone.
Extra offensive lineman George Fant on the top side of that offensive line. And again, Wilson hands it off up the middle to the 32.
Chris, you mentioned that zone read. I mean, you're going to see it 20 times at least today. And a lot of times you'll notice they'll move the back over to the other side, towards the tight end side of the formation, and hand it off. And it's a tendency for them. And it's a tendency because they've had so much success. And like you said, a good indicator, if you're a defender, if there's nobody on the end of the line of scrimmage, Russell Wilson will pull that thing and take care of it himself.
They're setting it up, I'm telling you.
In motion on 3rd and 3. Four-man pressure. Wilson, pocket collapsing. Buys himself some time and finds his tight end close to midfield. It's Nick Vannett for the first down.
The Matt Patricia said, what do you do when Russell Wilson scrambles? There's no defense for this. Nick Vannett, Russell Wilson missed him early. He's going to be right here. Russell Wilson missed him. He had him open early. He came off of it, but because a quarterback that has his mind and his vision in sync with his team as they go hurry up, made a good decision there. He kept it.
And Wilson on the edge working against Kennard, and he got Kennard on a bit of a swivel, and he got the first down.
Just better athlete. That's all that is.
Well, I think he does this sometimes, Chris, just to keep you honest. So we saw the 3 zone reads already on this drive. So you got to take it. You have to make this defense account for the quarterback. It'll slow them down, the defense. It'll slow them down because they now know that he will indeed pull this thing and run.
So next time, Kennard, don't stop and break down. Go take him out. I mean, you go hit the quarterback once he has that fake.
Final play of the quarter here, barring a penalty, and Carson stepping through traffic. His best run, helmets flying as he's down at the 30-yard line. Darius Slay with the tackle. 11-yard gain for Carson, and the quarter comes to a close. We've seen plenty of ground game as these two quarterbacks getting on track. A 7-0 Lions lead. Bulk of those first quarter yards for the Lions came on the long pass for the touchdown, made it 7-0. 49 rushing yards in that first quarter for Seattle, continuing their NFL leading rushing attack over the last 3 games. Ed Dixon into the game. First game he's been active this year. Missed the first 6 games with a quad injury. First down and 10, and we've got a stoppage. And the timeout utilized
This is the first
by the Lions.
charge timeout. Detroit.
30-second timeout for Detroit. You see on the uniforms for the Seattle Seahawks a special commemoration. And for more on that patch on the Seattle uniform, back to Shannon Spink.
Yeah, that's right, Kevin. You see these will be worn on home and away jerseys for the rest of the season. It says PGA. Of course, they are remembering their longtime owner, Paul Allen, who passed away 2 weeks ago from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This is the first game that the Seattle Seahawks have played since his passing, and certainly remembering him. Heavy hearts within the organization for how much he meant. And of course, they had to get that 12 in there for the 12th man. He certainly represented that in every way.
His ownership began in 1997, 12 playoff trips and 3 Super Bowls. Carson finds a little room to the 24-yard line before Christian Jones can make the stop. Pickup of 6.
I'll tell you, Daryl Daniels did a nice job from his slot position, a tight end, coming in and crackback blocking, creating that space. And that's the one thing when you're committed, like Pete Carroll is, to running the football, who, by the way, wasn't committed until week 3, then you start getting more options and opportunities. And Daryl Daniels, an outstanding run blocker. Pete Carroll likes that.
They threw it 68% of the time in the first 2 games. 10 runs, 4 passes today. It's been a complete remodel for Seattle. To the air goes Russell Wilson, looking in the end zone. Lockett is there. He's got it for the touchdown. What a throw. What a catch.
Well, that's exactly why you run the ball so much, so you could play action defenses. And Tyler Lockett's just he's gonna run this type of route. Look, if you're a defense, you think this is a run play, move him in, and he's got such great quickness at the top of his route. And for a little guy, Chris, I don't know how he makes these contested catches all the time, but he is the biggest playmaker on this Seahawks offense.
All right. I mean, he's got the trust of Russell Wilson. And how about the dime Russell Wilson threw to that back cone? That's the target that quarterbacks hit on that route. They're thrown to the orange pylon in the back of the end zone, trusting that Lockett would be there and turning his shoulders and getting squared to make that kind of throw. That's what Russell Wilson does best. A natural throw of the football. Doesn't have to work.
175th passing touchdown for Russell Wilson in his career. 2nd all-time in Seattle history, passing Matt Hasselbeck. 7-play, 75-yard drive, capped by this Wilson toss to Tyler Lockett, his 6th touchdown grab of the year. Russell Wilson giving a little love to the big guys up front after that 7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. He was 2 for 2 for 40 yards, 11 rushing yards on the drive as well for Russell Wilson. We're tied up at 7 apiece. Kevin Kugler, Chris Spielman, Rondé Barber, Shannon Spake, our entire NFL on Fox crew today from Ford Field in Detroit. Sebastian Janikowski to kick off.
Bring it out.
And out comes Amir Abdullah. Abdullah zigging and zagging his way across the 30, but he fumbles the football. It's been a problem for Abdullah in his career. The ball coughed up. Seattle looks like they've got it. Tedrick Thompson with the rip. And the Seahawks have the football.
Ball security, it's paramount, especially for a guy that's been struggling to get on the football field. He takes a big hit here, but yes, you have to protect the ball. You see that he's trying to. The helmet goes straight to the ball and helmet. Clear recovery.
Bingo.
By Mingo. Tedrick Thompson with the hit.
You know,
talk a lot about
made up for it, right?
Physicality of this Seahawks team. Tedrick Thompson exemplifies that as a safety and on special team.
Well, that's a makeup too for letting that touchdown over his head. Make a play for your team. I'm alert right now if I'm Detroit of a team taking a shot off a turnover, right? In deep red zone. Would you call this high red zone?
High red, yep.
I'm alert for just a little bit of a shot. Just be alert.
Lockett and Baldwin to the top.
Yep, there it is.
Play action. Wilson scrambling. Carson on the sideline, and Carson out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Really just another play action pass, and Carson does a fantastic job just sneaking out of the backfield. And this is a Detroit Lions team that plays a whole lot of man-to-man coverage, but they dropped into zone there, and nobody had their eyes on the kind of the outlet receiver, and Chris Carson, easy pickup for first down yardage.
Jaron Brown in the game now for Seattle. Lines up to the top side of the screen. First down from the 17. Play action. Wilson throws it short. And the catch made by Carson out of bounds after a pickup of 2. Seattle in the red zone has been nearly unstoppable this year, guys. They haven't had a ton of chances, but they've made the most of the ones they've had.
Yeah, the biggest reason for their success is they run the ball in the red zone. They really do. Remember, defenses benefit because you're picking up the 12th defender, the end line of the end zone. Plus, defenses get more aggressive as far as blitz packages and pressure packages go down in this area.
I think complementing that too, Chris, is the quarterback's ability to extend plays, right? Nothing's ever dead. Look for the end zone here.
Wilson Looking for more, juggles, makes the catch, touchdown! David Moore's 4th touchdown grab of the year, the highest degree of difficulty.
Like I said, Detroit plays a whole lot of man-to-man coverage. And Russell Wilson just takes advantage of it. Obvious man-to-man situation, single high, tease Tabor, who we talked about earlier in the game, Chris. You're going to try to take advantage of the young corner. Just goes right at him. And David Moore, he's arrived, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I tell you, here's the read between Moore. He sees Tabor on top, Russell throws it behind. Tabor underneath, Russell will throw it over the top. Good communication. Maybe because they trained together at UCLA in the offseason. There's a little chemistry. Moore wants more. Russell says, I got more. Take it, Moore. Touchdown.
The Lions with a rare fumble. Amir Abdullah coughing it up on the kickoff. Seattle with the recovery. Russell Wilson with the ability to cash in. The juggling catch for David Moore. His 4th touchdown of the year, and Amir Abdullah now with another opportunity. A chance at redemption with his team down 14-7. Here comes Abdullah from 2 yards deep. Abdullah tripped up across the 20 with a flag down.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 52, receiving team. After distance to the goal, 1st down.
Penalty on Christian Jones will back up Matthew Stafford and the Lions.
It's been a long time since Detroit has been down in a football game. And, you know, when you have an offense that has really started to rely on the run as much, the question for Jim Bob Cooter now is, do you stick to it? You don't feel it's too early to chase the game, obviously, Chris. Yeah. But at some point, you know, an offense like Seattle's that has been so red hot these past couple of weeks, you don't want to get it to the point where you get a 3 and out or a short drive here, and all of a sudden you're down in this football game.
Garrett Blunt. Is that Blunt in there?
It is. Big fella. Play action as Stafford will set up the screen to Blunt. Blockers in front. LeGarrette Blunt with a 1st down and more across the 30 to the 32 before Bobby Wagner and Tedrick Thompson can bring him down to 24 yards on the game.
So one of the big things for this Lions offense was getting T.J. Lang healthy. T.J. Lang does a great job of getting on Bradley McDougall out in space. That's difficult and tough to do. And he stayed with him, allowing Blunt to get positive yards. He's an important piece for them, especially in this run game. Right there he is, 76.
On 1st down, it's Kerryon Johnson running that direction. It's pounded. Shaquille Griffin gets credit for the tackle, but he ran right into the back.
Kerryon Johnson does a great job finding lanes off of, watch right here, finding lanes off his blockers, but look, he just gets pushed back into the, the back of his tight end. It's Roberts there, who does not win the point of attack battle. Nowhere to go.
You know, that's Frank Clark saying, hey, I'm more than a pass rusher, boys. I'm playing for a contract.
Absolutely.
I'm in that 5th year coming. That's big money. Let me show you I can play the run. Jacket Mike Roberts.
Roberts is wondering why the back of his neck's hurting right now. Screen to Tate. Tate's in trouble. Well defended by Seattle, and Golden Tate with a flag down at the end of the play on the tackle on the sideline.
They didn't need that. I get playing aggressive, fast, and hard. Everybody loves it. Rondé did it. A lot of guys did it well. You have to be smart. It's very possible to control your body, being the best athletes in the world.
Number 54, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
At the very end of this play, you just said it, the swarming defense. There's so many white shirts coming in here, and he's just trying to get a piece of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Face mask.
And, you know, I'm not going to question his effort like that, but Bobby's a guy that has to understand, even if you do that, go a little bit low because of the chance of, and he's been around, he's a possible Hall of Fame linebacker, so he has to understand where you are in the field, knowing that Golden Tate is heading to the sidelines. That's one where you just might want to pull off. But when you're an aggressive linebacker, who am I to say, though? Because Forget what I just said. I was king of jump on piles. Jump on that pile, tackle everything.
Just wanted an assisted tackle.
I stand corrected on everything I said. Erase all that stuff. Jump on the pile, Bobby. That's what you do best. I love it, man.
We'll edit that comment in post-production. Here's Kerryon Johnson. And just nudging the ball to the 49 of Seattle.
I don't even know what I was saying. What happened to me, man? I'm getting soft.
I know what you were trying to say, Chris.
Eventually, I just said, what am I talking about, man? I would have jumped all over that pile. I would have tackled everybody. Head, chin strap, everything. There's not a body part I didn't tackle a guy by the way, Cougs, just so you know.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
and you would have pled innocent to all of them.
Yes, I was.
Yep.
Hey, I got to leave.
He's a great player. I love watching Bobby Wagner play.
Golden Tate in motion, fake the give to Tate. Now looking for Kerryon Johnson. Good anticipation as Tedrick Thompson got over there to spike it away.
Read the corner, throw the corner.
Yeah, this is just a great job by Tedrick Thompson. He's coming out of the middle of the football field, and he anticipates. Look at him on the move before this play even gets going. This is little fake reverse. He has Golden Tate there as an outlet, but he doesn't even see Tedrick Thompson. Really, Chris, that should have been an interception.
Yeah.
This is a miss-op, if you're asking me.
Yeah, it hit his hands. So, yeah, you're exactly right. It's an interception. He should have flicked it to Golden Tate because he had Mingo trailing underneath. You read that underneath coverage. He drops, dump it to the swing man.
3rd and 7. Stafford looking deep for Jones. Excellent coverage from Trey Flowers, the rookie out of Oklahoma State.
Great coverage. This kid has such great length. And he's a safety in college, converted to corner here. He fits the profile perfectly for a Pete Carroll corner. Can stay on top. I know this ball's a little bit overthrown, but I don't think there was any way that Marvin Jones was going to make that play with those long arms defending.
Real quick, Rondé, isn't it kind of cool how we're seeing the evolution of corner? You and I were talking about this.
You mean you're telling me I couldn't play in the league?
You'd be my nickel guy.
Yeah.
Making $1 million being a nickel, you'll be fine.
Touchback as that one just snuck across the goal line for the touchback. And Seattle going back to work. Pete Carroll's team up 7 on the road. Pretty lustrous booth I'm in. A couple of guys who've been nominated in the Hall of Fame class for 2019. Chris Spielman hanging out with his old Lions teammates on the sidelines earlier. Rondé Barber was hanging out with Chris's old Lions teammates on the sideline earlier.
It was a knockout shot, right, Rondé? You gave that guy a knockout?
We did some research. Cougs played the flute.
Carson to the edge and nowhere to go. Jared Davis coming off his best game at Miami a week ago and trying to pick up where he left off.
So we talked about what's Harrison, Big D, Big Dame. He's got a bunch of different nicknames. I guess he doesn't like snacks all that much. But the guy that's a beneficiary of bringing in Damon Harrison is Jared Davis. I told you, you're talking about teammates down there. I ran into Jerry Ball. Jerry Ball played good. I played really good. Jerry Ball played bad. I played really bad. Harrison plays good, Davis plays good, Harrison plays bad, Davis plays bad. Linebackers and inside defensive linemen. It's a good marriage.
On 2nd down, here's Carson trying to bounce to the edge. Breaks one tackle, but Davis there to try to finish him off. Okwara had a shot at him, and then Davis there to send him to the sideline.
Well, he's starting to slow down, and the game is slowing down for Jared Davis. He gets better and better. There's Damon Harrison. He's got one gap right here. Now watch what he does. He takes 2 guys. So when there are 2 guys on 98, that means one guy can't get to 40. That's what I'm saying. The bigger the pants, the easier it is for a middle linebacker in front of him. You got big pants in front of you, like 46 and 48 and above, maybe in the 50s. That's a great sign.
Shop in the big and tall section means good things. Wilson to the air on 3rd down. What a catch! And then Moore could not hang on. The ball popping loose at the end of the play. Tees Tabor on the coverage.
Should be offensive interference. Moore grabs him. They shouldn't call a flag right here, Rondé.
But this is just staying in the fight if you're Tees Tabor, because, again, they're going to pick on the young kid. You don't want to go over on the other side of the field to Darius Slay. He's beat. This is a catch, but stay in the fight. You got to keep it to the ground for it to be a completion. That is a fantastic play by this young corner here.
Well, the thing he does is goes and plays through the hands.
Absolutely, right? Chris.
And Pete Carroll has thrown the challenge flag. He wants to challenge this call of a catch. Remember, the catch rule has been altered. It's no longer imperative to survive the ground. So the three components: control, 2 feet or a body part, and a football move.
Seattle is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
They're going to take a look at this one. See if Pete Carroll's Seahawks get a catch. All right, 8:19 remaining in the second quarter. They have reviewed this and have reversed it and ruled a catch on the field for David Moore. Dean Blandino is watching in our studios in Los Angeles. Why has this been reversed, Dean?
Yeah, this is a good illustration of the rule change. Last year, this was incomplete. But again, the change basically said control, 2 feet, and a football move, and the third foot qualifies. So you can see as Moore goes to the ground, he gets 3 feet down. Once that third foot hits, the process of the catch is over, so that's why they overturned it.
And Dean, that's where you go back to, again, that rule change where surviving the ground is gone, right? That doesn't matter.
It's gone if you perform a football move.
And that third foot being the football move. Dean, thanks very much, as Chris Carson gets the ball in the Lions' territory at the 48-yard line. Flag is down.
Rondé, you had a chance to see Chris Carson earlier this year. We watched him on film. I think he runs for reps.
Yeah,
like he runs like it's the last time he's ever going to run a
Personal
football.
Foul. Chop block, number 74, offense, 15-yard penalty, still first down.
It's George Fant who is in as the extra blocker.
I think you make a great point, Chris, especially with the depth at running back that they have. We know what Mike Davis has shown as a runner. They draft Rashard Penny in the first round in the draft this year, and he can't even get on the football field.
So chop block is defined so the viewers at home know you cannot be engaged high with somebody and somebody else come in low. Oftentimes that happens on double teams on interior defensive linemen. That was the call.
That makes it 1st and 25 now, back at the 35 of Seattle. Russell Wilson, juggling catch made by Doug Baldwin at the 40-yard line. Go back to that chop block, though, and see what cost the Seahawks this yardage.
Well, I think it's on this side right here. See where they call it. First of all, he's giving away run pass because his eyes are down inside. I think that's the wrong number because he wasn't guilty. It might have been 64 J.R. Sweezy on the backside.
Wilson with time, and he finds Baldwin for the first down.
Catch. Concentration there by Doug Baldwin. Glover Quinn looks like he's about to intercept this from our perspective up here. Doug Baldwin's the guy. We had him a couple weeks ago, had 1 catch for 1 yard, but got going last week. He's so good, Chris, finding these areas underneath, settling down in between 2 defenders, and then Russell Wilson with the strong arm throw just bullets this thing in here.
You know what helps him? He doesn't let the ball get to his chest, right? Exactly, so he goes out and saves a millisecond so Quinn doesn't get on it. And so you see Baldwin go reach with it as Lawson is being tended to by the trainers. Go get the ball, Rondé. Don't wait for it.
We'll be right back after this message from Progressive. Still tending to Nevin Lawson on the field, now up and making his way to the sideline. Lawson was in on the tackle at the end of this catch by Doug Baldwin.
And you'll see him here coming in, and one that drags him down. I really didn't see anything that would be the injury. Maybe a cleat to the solar plexus.
Yeah.
But he jogged off the field. I'm sure he'll be all right and be back.
So I just we always talk about hidden yards, and you know it's a cliche, but cliches are cliches because they're true. It's such a game of inches, and Baldwin not waiting on the football to him, instead attacking the football was just enough time so Glover Quinn could knock it away. That's just little things that win ball games. Execution of details.
Number 39, Carson, trying to find some running. Look at Carson push the pile down to the 33. And over Quinn with a tackle.
That's exactly what you're talking about, Chris. Yeah. Running for reps. I mean, I have not seen 2 not huge backs run as hard as these two running backs here in Seattle. The first guy never takes them to the ground. It's contact, 2 more yards. Contact, maybe another yard, and fall forward. It's a really big reason why this Seattle run offense has been thriving of late.
It's not as if this is a guy who had the easy path. He went to Butler Community College, Oklahoma State, 7th round draft pick, got injured in 2017. This is a guy who's had a long, hard road to get to the spot he's in right now. And on 2nd and 5 with a flag down, Carson finding room up the middle. And Carson's got a first down, but we'll wait and see about the flag.
Illegal shift. 2 players on the offense were moving and did not get reset. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So Seattle's been looking for running backs for a long time, right? I mean, there's a grocery list bigger than Rondé and Tiki's grocery list when they were little babies looking for food. Look at that. Trying to find somebody, right?
It's just since Marshawn Lynch. All the names they've run through there.
Since 2015, how many backs do we determine this was? I can't even count that fast. No many guys here, but this is what they have. These 2 guys have really settled into the role. They don't share carries, so to speak. It's kind of who has the hot hand. Chris Carson is obviously getting the majority of the carries here today.
But that tag team has brought the Seahawks running game back again. 2nd and 9 at the 38. Carson, a nice little move, just slithers his way to the 28-yard line.
Well, we love talking about running backs because everybody wants to fantasy points or whatnot. But keep an eye on this dude right here, J.R. Sweeze. We pointed him out in the open. You're looking for springs, this little pin and pull move. He gets on Ricky Jean-Francois, and then the gap is there, and he just takes it. The hard running, obviously set up by great offensive line play, and everybody on this Seattle team talks about how good they have been since JR and G.J. Fluker have been back in the lineup together.
Play action, Wilson under heat. Russell Wilson chased by Kennard, trying to find Vanette on the sidelines. Avon Wilson out there on the coverage, 2nd down. Former Giant Devon Kennard doing some work here.
Yeah, he's done a good job. And one thing Devon has, he's not flashy, but he's smart, and Matt Patricia trusts him. And he does a good job of staying upfield on Russell Wilson. I'm going to tell you a little adjustment I'm making on 1st and 2nd down. And Carson's in the game. 98's in the game in Honolulu blue and silver for me. You brought him here. He's fine. He played Monday night. He's a young guy. You're paying him a lot of money. Keep him in the ball game because he solidifies your run defense.
Lockett on the sweep. And Lockett with a first down. Shoved out by Nevin Lawson, who's back out on the field. Time to check in once more with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So Steelers trailing 6-0 in the 2nd when Ben Roethlisberger will find a very familiar target. No one's worried about this connection anymore. 43-yard score for Antonio Brown. Steelers up 7-6. Kevin?
Carissa, thanks.
To show you when you're in man coverage what the problem is. You want to create a short corner. You're going to see outside. Darius Slay, because he's playing man coverage, is running out of the way playing coverage, creating a short corner, Rondé. You got to recognize and come up and attack.
Absolutely.
Turn it back inside.
Somebody's got to set the edge of the defense. Exactly right.
From the 18 on first down, Davis picks his way to the 14-yard line. Very patient drive again for Seattle. Romeo Okwara on the tackle after the 4-yard gain.
Snacks, Big Dame, Big Dog, and a host of other. I'll call him Mister because he was in there forcing Mike Davis to cut that back. That's just what he brings. I can't emphasize enough how the more reps he gets with his defense, how this defense will gradually improve in a rush defense overall.
Saw Seattle averaging 5.4 yards per carry. That's right at the Lions average. That's the league worst per carry. Lions have been struggling to stop the run today and throughout the season. Davis trying to get to the edge, and Davis forced out by Okwara.
They do it in so many different ways. I mean, you mentioned early the read option that they run, but I've never seen an offensive line have so many different blocking combinations. On that play, you got Dwayne Brown bouncing out and becoming a puller out in front of a run that's toward his side. It's a unique blocking scheme that they do very, very well.
Critical down here for this Lions defense. 3rd and 4. Seahawks already up 7, looking for more. Lockett in motion. Wilson with all kinds of time to the end zone, juggling for Dixon, who's got it for the touchdown. Welcome back, Ed Dixon. 12-yard touchdown, and the Seahawks with a 20-7 lead.
You get all this motion to determine what they're in, and when Darius Slay goes over with Tyler Lockett, you know for sure that it's man-to-man, and Quandre Digg, tough assignment here, much bigger player. The throw is perfect. He plays the ball well, but Ed Dixon, welcome back.
Size, size matters too, right?
Absolutely it does. And the one thing about these Detroit safeties, they're not on the bigger side. Both these guys are dynamic players, but they are short and at a definite disadvantage against tight ends.
Janikowski with the extra point. And the Seattle Seahawks getting Ed Dixon back, getting him into the end zone for 6. Seahawks offense rolling, thus you can have a little fun. The 2-2 from Lockett. Oh, and he hit Baldwin. Baldwin's charging the mound. Oh, and Lockett is ready for him.
You're a right-handed pitcher. Throw the left hook, not the straight right hand. I mean, protect the right hand, Lockett.
You got to learn that. That's how you make your money. 12 plays, 80 yards. And the 12-yard touchdown catch makes it 21-7. And the knee will be taken, or the touchback. Speaking of baseball, of course, tonight after football, it's game 5. Red Sox and Dodgers, do or die for the Dodgers as they fight to keep their season alive, while the Red Sox look to clinch another World Series title. Red Sox Dodgers game 5 tonight after football on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Dodgers are going to put Clayton Kershaw out there and get him to work. David Price in the clincher, perhaps, for the Red Sox tonight. Matthew Stafford has other things on his mind right now, but you know he'll be locked in tonight. Big baseball guy. First down from the 25, and an opening for Kerryon Johnson. He gets 7 to the 32 before Thompson and Coleman combine on the stop. Seven carries, 22 yards for Kerryon Johnson. Lions trying to get a snap in before the 2-minute warning. And not going to.
That man coverage down there showed it late.
There's a 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning in Detroit. Seattle on the road, celebrating early, a 21-7 Seahawk lead. 2 minutes to play in this first half. Seattle 21, Detroit 7. Kevin Kugler, Rondé Barber in the booth. Chris Spielman's on his way down to the field. His former Detroit Lions teammate Herman Moore being honored at halftime with a bunch of Lions teammates. He's going to join in that celebration at the half. Shannon Spake on the sidelines. As we get the final 2 minutes of this first half started. Important drive here for the Lions. Down 2 touchdowns, but they will get the football to start the second half. Stafford, quick toss. Luke Wilson, the former Seahawk, with the grab and a first down to the 41-yard line.
I think you nailed it, Kevin. No more important drive than one going into the half when you're down, especially when you're getting the ball. You got to find some way to mitigate what the Seahawks have been able to do on offense. Let's see what Matthew Stafford has going here.
On first down, Stafford over the middle, batted away from Kerryon Johnson. KJ Wright closing quickly on the Lion running back.
We haven't spoken much about KJ Wright, but he is such a good underneath pass defender. This is a play that Detroit runs, always trying to get this running back in space, but KJ Wright is all over this play. Nice pass defense.
Talking yesterday with Ken Norton Jr., Seattle's defensive coordinator, he said he is so cerebral. He allows everybody else to play free because he does so much of the thinking. You can see that thinking working there as he read that beautifully.
The only question for him is game shape, but hasn't taken every snap. He's going to get a bunch of them here in this 2-minute defense.
On 2nd and 10, Stafford will step up, hit as he throws it. It's dropped by Luke Wilson. Wilson had a chance to turn that corner and get close to the first down. Instead, 3rd and 10.
Good pressure. We've talked about Frank Clark a lot into your line of scrimmage. This is another premium matchup, and I've seen a bunch of times today where right tackle, or right guard, Frank Ragnow comes over and helps Taylor Decker because they know that threat of Frank Clark is so immense on this edge.
Golden Tate in motion on third down. Format pressure. Stafford steps away. Now the pocket collapsing, and Clark's got it. Frank Clark, along with Jacob Martin, closing in on Matthew Stafford.
Oh, I think you nailed the guy who caused this sack. It's Jacob Martin. He's going to be on this side. Frank Clark is over here. That's just the beneficiary of the rush. Look at him push the pocket, make Matthew Stafford step up, and look, guess who's there? Frank Clark falling into a sack. Big play by this Seahawks defense. And now they take this timeout, and they're looking for more points going in now. And this is where it gets a little dicey and dangerous for this Lion football team, because Russell Wilson is so good in 2-minute drills. He's able, again, because he can keep plays alive, he's got those dynamic playmakers outside. This will be a challenge here for this Detroit football team before the half.
Pressure up the middle. Martin able to get rid of it. Lockett will let that one bounce at the 5, and it's going to die right there. Excellent work by Sam Martin, and the Seahawks pinned deep. Kurt Menefee, what's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll catch you up on that big Jags-Eagles game from London. We will see if the Kansas City Chiefs can slide in and get a win against the Broncos, and the Steelers try to hit a home run against the Browns. It's all coming up. Don't balk. Visa Halftime is next.
Kurt Menefee feeling a little World Series action.
So very clever. He's a wordsmith. We know that.
How about the Seahawks? They had the first drive. It was an effective drive. They had to punt it away, but then touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. This their worst starting field position of the day at the 7-yard line.
Backed up. You just want one play here to give you a chance to get this offense going, but you got to get from out of the shadow of your end zone before you do anything.
Wilson on first down to give to Davis. And Mike Davis tripped up by Devon Kennard, and now the Seahawks will hustle it up.
It's an important play on first down. They don't seem to be in any hurry here, Kevin.
No, they've started to hustle to the line, and then Russell Wilson put his hands down and said, calm down, we're not going anywhere.
It's strange that they won't try to get at least 3 points out of this drive. You don't need that. Be comfortable with this lead, I think, at this point, because we know how effective Matthew Stafford can be at the end of football games. I would expect them to have tried to get some points out of this last drive of the half.
Second down, Davis again. Looking for an edge, finds none, and now third down.
And by taking 2 losses on first and second out, or 2, not trying to push the ball down the field, I should say, you give Detroit that opportunity now to get maybe 1 play. If they can get a stop here on third down, they still have 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, but not using them here, and the clock running under 10 seconds to go in this first half. And the Seahawks are going to be content to go into the locker room with a 21-7 lead. And that is how the first half comes to a close in Detroit, with Seattle up 21-7. The play of the first half is presented by DirecTV. More for your thing. That's our thing. And more for David Moore. The juggling touchdown. That's his thing. And a 21-7 lead. Seahawks with the advantage in Detroit. Lions will have the football to start the second half. These two 3-3 teams battling for a leg up as they battle for a playoff spot down the road. Seahawks and Lions after that opening touchdown for the Lions. The Seahawks with 3 straight touchdowns. And Alumni Day in Detroit. Chris Spielman right there. I don't remember him wearing that jersey earlier, but he's found his jersey now on the field with the rest of his former teammates. Dre Bly leading the charge there for the Lions as alumni take the field.
There's Herman Moore.
Herman Moore.
Guy.
Man, terrific wide receiver.
Yes, he was, buddy. Yes, he was.
Time to head to our Fox studios in Los Angeles. 21-7, Seattle at the half. Reloading and firing, Jones in the end zone, caught it, touchdown! To the air There goes Russell Wilson looking in the end zone. Lockett is there. He's got it for a touchdown. Looking for more. Chuckles makes the catch. Touchdown. That was today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive and the Seattle Seahawks. Flowing in that first half up to a 21-7 advantage as we get set to start the third quarter. Kevin Kugler, Rondé Barber, Chris Spielman, and Shannon Spake on the sidelines. Our first half numbers, and those rush yards for the Lions, not where Matt Patricia wants them, not where they've been, Rondé, the last few weeks.
Oh, not at all. Kerryon Johnson, the sensational rookie's only got 7 touches on the day. And again, it's a question that we brought up earlier in the broadcast. They're getting the ball here. Are they going to be able to stay patient with that run game, or are they going to start chasing this football game? Because again, the Seattle offense is on fire today.
Touchback will send it out to the 25 for the Lions. Matthew Stafford, 7 of 13, 108 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Kerryon Johnson, though, only 7 carries for 22 yards.
Well, just not a lot of opportunities, not enough opportunities. In a game like that the Lions have started to play to win these football games, everything's been close or they've had a lead. Now being behind, it's going to challenge them in different ways. We'll see what Jim Bob Cooter and Matthew Stafford have in store, see if they can get back into this football game early in the half.
Stafford to the air on first down. Galladay with the grab. Galladay breaking free. And Kenny Galladay with a first down. Time to check in once more with Shannon.
Well, as you can imagine, Pete Carroll pretty happy with the way things went in that first half. I did ask him about the rushing attempts from the Lions, if he's surprised that they haven't had more yardage. And he said he really thinks it's because the Seahawks are winning that time of possession battle. He does not think it'll stay the same in the second. As far as Matt Patricia, I asked him how committed they have to be to the run in the second, and he said, we got to stick to the game plan. I said, what's the game plan? He said, do better than we did in the first.
Simple, effective if it works. Kerryon Johnson.
Very specific.
Yes, do better. Bobby White here on the tackle of Kerryon Johnson. They have really done a good job, Rondé, bottling up Kerryon Johnson. What we've seen from him over the last few weeks, does it surprise you how the Seahawks have been able to slow him down?
No, what the surprise is really for me is that the play of the defensive line of the Seattle Seahawks. They've been stout. There's been no movement up front, so there aren't those running lanes for Kerryon Johnson or LeGarrette Blount to get anything going.
That's Quentin Jefferson who is down for the Seahawks. That is the third-year man out of Maryland. Slow to get up. Second stint with Seattle. Spent a little time on the Rams practice squad. Back in his second stint with these guys. See it in the pile here.
You see him right there in the middle of your screen, big 99, and you know these piles. I know, Kevin, you were never in any of these piles, but sometimes you land and somebody's knee hits the wrong spot and you got to take a little break.
Second and 10 at the 37. Stafford to the air. Luke Wilson twisted down about a yard shy of the first. KJ Wright and Shaquille Griffin there.
And I think this is the way that you get back into the football game. You still stay committed to that run game, but I know this. Matthew Stafford, when he has to throw these intermediate passes, I don't think there's a better player in football. Not only because he gets the ball out, he's really adapted to this offense, but because he can change his arm angle. He can throw off platform. That's the way back. But on third down here, you've got to be looking at none other than Golden Tate. He is their third down master. See if they get him the ball here.
Third and 2 for Stafford. Pressure up the middle. Stafford in trouble, and he's sacked. Shamar Stephen with his second sack of the year.
Yeah, Shamar Stephen, he's just got a workman-like mentality to him. He's right here. And just watch this move. Working on Glasgow, he just throws him. He gets the benefit of his partner on the other side of the ball. Clear path to the quarterback and gets him to the ground. This Seahawks defense, Kevin, I got to tell you, when I look at them, there's so many different guys showing up. Obviously, the talk is Frank Clark, but these other guys have really stepped up, allowed them to only rush forward, get to the quarterback, and they're off the field again.
Lockett from the 16. And Lockett Second down at the 26. 21-7 lead for the Seahawks. Seahawks defense picking things up where the offense left off in the first half. Russell Wilson, what a day, 11 of 12, 151 yards, 3 touchdowns. That equates to a perfect passer rating.
Well, I think when you only have 1 incompletion and 3 touchdowns, that's pretty close to perfect.
Chris Spielman back with us in the booth with Rondé Barber, myself, Kevin Kugler, Shannon Spake on the field. As Chris Carson works his way up near the 31-yard line before Jared Davis can make the stop.
It's great to be down there, and it looks like the Lions did a little adjustment at halftime right there. We saw Darius Slay from his corner spot come in. When you get the ball run on you so often, you have to make some adjustments, and usually the adjustment is to stop the run is play an 8-man front, whether that's a corner or safety, depending on formation. That seems to be what the Lions came out doing. It was great being down there with all my ex-teammates. Great guys.
Second down and 5. Wilson will keep this one. Trying to get to the edge, and he lunges past Romeo Okwara close to the first down.
Here you go. Read option. Seattle Seahawks, they move the back. He was over here, they move him over here. The tight end is on this side almost 100% of the time, Chris. This is read option. You see the defensive end crash down. Keep an eye on Russell Wilson, but he's so dynamic with the football. I don't think he runs as well as he once did, but he still has this ability to hit edges and pick up big yardage. He is a tough dude to tackle.
Just shy of the first down. It's 3rd and short. Deron Brown motioning towards the line. Play action. Looking for Dixon wide open. And Dixon loping down the sidelines and inside the Lions 25 before Quandre Diggs can catch him.
But when you sell out on the blitz, you're usually in man coverage. You have to have discipline in your man coverage. Rondé learned this lesson. I learned this lesson. That man takes precedent over everything.
And those 2 guys are the ones that mess it up. It's Glover Quinn and Darius Slay. One of them's got the tight end. I'm not sure which one.
Slay's got him.
Yeah, they're looking at each other like, who's got that? It's a big bust in the secondary for the Lions and a huge play for this Seattle offense.
Breakdown in communication leads to big plays by the offense in the back end of the defense.
And 42 yards later, it's first down at the 23. Carson on the carry. And Carson hopping his way down inside the 15.
Well, they just feel like they're rolling now. Everything's clicking. You get a team on their heels, so to speak, because they're running the ball so effectively. Then you get the play action, big play, and it's just forcing your will. And they are winning the battle up front, Chris. We talked, obviously, big story of the day, Damon Harrison. He's only taken about 15 or 16 snaps so far of the 36 that they've had on defense. And they're still struggling to stop the run here in Detroit.
Second and 1. Another run for Carson. Does he get the edge? He does, and Carson out of bounds. It'll be 1st and goal, Seattle.
What you have going on here, so you hit run inside. Now you get a little misdirection. This is an old counter play where you have 2 pullers from the backside. It's set up by the athleticism of an offensive line that can pull. Then what you also have is receivers blocking downfield. You're going to get 2 pullers right here. They're going to get on guys, a body on a body. That ball needs to be forced back inside, and you have Lockett working Slay, not punishing block, but just enough to get in his way to get that hidden yardage that we always talk about.
Off to set the Seahawks up 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Carson again, patience. Going sideways and rolling down to the 1.
Chris Carson's one of those runners, just forces his will on you. He just will not go to the ground. It is frustrating as a defender, been there, when you have a runner that just wants it more than you want it. I mean, I'm not giving up on Detroit on defense right now, but they are definitely getting demoralized by this running game of Seattle.
Well, you know what? They need to be challenged. And we're going to watch them if they score here on the sidelines, and we're going to see if they are challenged. Because right now, the only thing that's gaining confidence is that offensive line. And I'm telling you, that's their reward. When they have running backs that run through guys, that's the reward.
Second and goal, Wilson looking for Baldwin in the end zone. Doug Baldwin cannot pull it in bounds. Incomplete. Lawson on the coverage, 3rd and goal.
Got to bring 2 feet in on that, right, Rondé?
Yeah, but this is just a great design of the play. Got him inside, so you have all this room back here to throw this football. They know it's man-to-man coverage. Ooh, got away with a face mask, too. That should have been called. And then no toe touch.
Yeah, he's got to get 2 feet on that. He's too good. He's too good of a player not to get 2 feet in. 3rd down.
Big stop opportunity here for Detroit. They want to stay in this football game, Chris. I think you agree right now. They need to hold them here from a touchdown.
Brandon Marshall into the game at the top of the screen. First time we've seen Marshall. This is Carson trying to go up the middle. He won't get there.
There you go.
And who's clogging it up in the middle? Big Damon Harrison.
And here's the thing on 4th down. I'm absolutely going for it on 4th down, because one thing you have obviously a 2-possession ball game. You would see Damon Harrison right here using his hands inside, 2-gapping, and again allowing Jared Davis to run free. That's what he does best. But you're setting up field position, right? Your defense has been dominant. This is well worth the risk of going for it on 4th down as opposed to kicking the field goal.
That's a great point, Chris.
Watch the angle of the fullback. He will tell you run or pass.
Play action. Russell Wilson under pressure. Wilson looking for the end zone. Found his tight end, Nick Vanette, for the touchdown. There is a hat off on the back line of the end zone. And that usually means out of bounds, and there's the flag.
That's exactly right. Christian Jones actually pushes him out of bounds. This is Vanette. This is Christian Jones. You're going to see him coming to your screen late here, trying to get back into the fight. Smart defensive play right there. Push him out of bounds. Right foot steps out. That is penalty. But this, from that angle,
yeah.
I mean, I know what the official called. That was really, really close to him staying in bounds.
And the Lions did an excellent job because of the angle of the fullback, Kevin. When you see that fullback release.
Number 81 of the offense went out of bounds, was the first to touch the ball. That's illegal touching on the offense. The penalty is a loss of down at the previous spot. 1st down, Detroit.
Giant
play action, and they got it.
And a timeout as the Lions turn away the Seahawks. Well, the penalty called against Nick Vanette for illegal touching goes out of bounds after the shove from Jones right there and there. And then comes back in, touches it, take the touchdown off the board, the loss of down, and the Lions get the stop. But now they start snuggled up at their own 1-yard line. As Chris said at the time, worth the risk if you're Seattle, because this is the result. 1st and goal at the 1, and LeGarrette Blount just trying to burrow for yardage and finds none.
Well, you're in survival mode if you're an offense here down inside your 1-yard line. Direct runs, you'll see a lot of this. You don't want to mess around in the backfield at all. Any slow developing plays, you want the push up front to be the impetus to get off your goal line. Another thing, Chris, you'll see down here, teams will take some shots. They'll try to catch you unawares, see if you can throw it down the field to one of these big wideouts. And when Joey Galladay, is lined up in the slot, I think that's a matchup you got to be looking at.
Yeah, Kenny does a good job of getting release points.
Kenny, I'm sorry. Thank you, Chris. Thinking of Joey Galladay. Why don't
Blitz coming. Stafford gets rid of it and plucked by Marvin Jones.
Because he's a former Seahawk, former Cowboy, former Buccaneer.
Right?
So, you know, if you just keep going on, if we got a team, Joey probably played on one. I know Joey's watching today.
That's your boy, right?
Oh, that's
Ohio
my guy. That's my guy.
I think we had him. I have him in my head because we were talking about him yesterday.
Now 3rd and 5 for the Lions, pinned at their own 6.
It's Golden Tate time. Usually in the first half, the first 2 third downs, they found Golden Tate on little crossing routes or working in zones. Sitting it down, finding a spot.
Those are his only 2 catches today, Chris. 2 catches for 18 yards for Golden Tate. Stafford will set up the screen to carry on Johnson. Got a block, got a second block. Johnson's got a 1st down and much more out of bounds near the 30-yard line. So Hedrick Thompson chased him out.
Kevin, screen passes and run defense are the same thing. You have to have fits. Now what's going to happen is Kerryon Johnson's going to sit and the linemen are going to come out, but watch the Seattle defenders. They have to fit gaps just like you have to fit running gaps. They're going to get 2 guys caught outside. 1, 2. You have two guys in one gap. That creates the hole. Kerryon Johnson is patient enough to let those blocks set up.
Ready, start, 27, 1, 2, hot.
And a first down to the 30-yard line.
Louis, listen.
Stafford sets. Nobody open. Stafford got rid of it and threw it away. Deion Jordan providing the heat on Matthew Stafford's second down.
Rondé, Shaquille does a great job of getting out of his zone and playing man.
Absolutely, he can do this. He is a good man-to-man coverage corner, and you'll see it on the other side. The coverage is there as well. Nowhere for Matthew Stafford to find a receiver, and you see that underneath dropper there, Justin Coleman. That is brilliant zone defense by a nickel back because he knew that that ball was going to come there late.
Like transition into man, right? This
Absolutely.
You and I have been talking about it for 3 days. We're on the same page. I love it.
Stafford, quick toss out of the backfield. There's Johnson. Oh, shoves him aside. Get off my lawn. Tossed aside and a first down.
That's Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn stuff right there, man.
Absolutely. Wow. How about the quickness of this kid? Chris, you've seen him a lot this year, but throw in some power, too. This was an awesome little run. I tell you, we keep talking about how special he is. He doesn't look big. He's got skinny legs, but get out of my face. I got places to go. Wow, what a run by Kerryon Johnson.
Shannon spake, we were out of practice. Shannon noted that Matthew Stafford was working on Kerryon Johnson on all kind of pass releases because Shannon's all over it.
There's Blunt on first down.
He missed the hole, guys.
Yep. One step to his right, it looked like Chris, he'd had the opening.
You got it, Coop. I tell you, this is when you don't get a lot of reps. You're not in the flow of the game, and you're a running back. There's going to be a hole that's going to open up on the cutback right here. Luke Wilson's going to come in and seal. See, right there is the hole. And LeGarrette is not quite, he's a short yardage guy. Short yardage guys are get the ball straight ahead with Kerryon Johnson. I really think he will set that up just a little bit, but a little bit more patient.
Second and 9, Stafford swing pass. Johnson on the sideline, lowers the shoulders, and Trey Flowers stays with him to pull him out of bounds after a 5-yard pickup.
That was a good job there by Matthew Stafford going through this progression so quick. I mean, I got to say that the defensive line of Seattle is winning the battle up front. They are providing instantaneous pressure on Matthew Stafford, but you know where your outlet is, and Kerryon Johnson and scat protection air scat. When you don't stay in and block, you just get out and make yourself available in the passing route.
You know why that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're not running the ball, so all the defenders got their pass rush ears on. Sacks equal dollar signs.
Yes.
They're all pinned back, ready to go.
I like the way you stated that.
Frank Clark was offsides there.
Golden Tate has it jarred loose, incomplete. Going to Tate on third down. No flag on the play, and it's 4th and 4.
Now he was close to the line of scrimmage. Watch 55, Frank Clark. See, I can't see the ball. So when I can't see the ball, he's offsides. And the officials missed that because he was offsides and I'm sitting right on the ball. So that's what, pull the flag. You can't miss that one, official.
They did miss it, and it goes out of bounds, and the punt gives it back to Seattle. 21-7, Seahawks with the lead and the ball. 3:16 left in the third. Well, we noticed this pregame, and this is the impact Shaquem Griffin has on people all across the country. The inspirational story of Shaquem Griffin, the rookie out of Central Florida. That young man, obviously a big Shaquem Griffin fan on the sidelines pregame, and Shaquem Griffin, who lost his left hand at the age of 4 after amniotic band syndrome, making it to the National Football League, inspiring kids like that.
You know what the great thing about that is, Kevin? He took off a Lions jersey to showcase that.
Yes, he did. Carson trying to reverse his field and finds very little room. Harrison there on the tackle. A little bit more on the story of the young man on the sidelines. Check back in with Shannon.
Yeah, Kevin, that was 2-year-old Blake. He was born without his left hand. I talked to his family. They're actually Detroit Lion ticket holders, and they wrote the team and asked them if they could have field passes for this game so that they could meet Shaquem. I was told that Blake, every time he sees Shaquem on the TV screen, he screams out, "I want to play football just like him."
He is an inspiration indeed for kids all across the country. Carson trying to find some room out to the 27-yard line. Jared Davis with the tackle. Now a 3rd down for Seattle.
I think we're at that point in the game, and Chris, you would agree with me, where these stops on defense become crucial for Detroit. 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. You still haven't gotten anything going on offense if you're Detroit. They've had 6 straight punts. Got to find a way to make a play on defense here.
5 for 7, 71%. Seattle's offense on 3rd downs. Going to play man coverage. This is what they do best, setting up a pick route right here.
Third and 8. Over the middle, Lockett's got it, 1st down.
Too easy.
Yeah, you know, one of the things, Chris, I'm glad you pointed that out. Deep offenses like to reduce formations so they can then expand you at the snap. And Darius Slay's in coverage here. And just look how much room is left because of this formation. That's an easy throw for any quarterback. Russell Wilson is on such a good page with all his receivers. They're not going to miss that opportunity. Well drawn up because of the way that Detroit plays defense. 1st down, Seattle.
Russell Wilson, 203 yards. Still that perfect quarterback rating. Carson, not much there for Chris Carson. Let's check in Los Angeles. Carissa's got an update.
Chiefs up 16-14. Patrick Mahomes connects with Sammy Watkins for this 10-yard score. Mahomes' 3rd touchdown pass of the day, league leading 25th, but they just added another touchdown, Kareem Hunt, bringing the total to 29-14. Kevin?
Carissa, there are so many weapons for that Chiefs team. Patrick Mahomes, Sammy Watkins is essentially your 4th option with that Chiefs squad.
And they don't even talk about how good they can run the ball with Kareem Hunt because of the season the quarterback has had.
Maybe last year's rushing champion in the National Football League. That is a talented team. Here's Lockett on the sweep. And Lockett caught by Quandre Diggs.
And we had a chance to sit down with Quandre Diggs. He is a nickel converted to safety, so he has my heart for sure. But he's a box guy. They keep him down in the box, and he is so instinctive. He sniffed out this jet sweep. No chance. Great play.
Tackled his good friend. They FaceTime together every week, but Quandre said not this week. No FaceTime conversations with Tyler Lockett. And that tackle of Diggs, or by Diggs of Lockett, is going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter here in Detroit. Seahawks on the road trying to get their 4th win of the season against the Detroit Lions, up 2 scores. Halftime score was 21-7, stays 21-7 as we begin the 4th. Kevin Kugler alongside Chris Spielman, Rondé Barber with Shannon Spake on the field. Our entire NFL on Fox crew here in Detroit. A 3rd and 5 for the Seahawks to start this 4th quarter of play.
Win man battles outside, Rondé.
Wilson looking for Van Ness, who's got it over the middle. And a 1st down. We've got a flag down on the far side of the field. Quandre Diggs and Deshaun Shedd combine on the stop of the Seattle tight end. We'll wait and see about the flag.
Nick Van Ness is a weapon when healthy. I don't think people realize how good of an athlete Nick Van Ness is. Not only that, an outstanding route runner. What we saw there was a combination route away from trips. Everybody does this in isolation if you get a matchup that you
illegal
like.
hands to the face, number 31, defense. The penalty has declined. The result of the play is a completed pass. 1st down.
Tease Tabor whistled for the penalty.
So it's a 2-man combination route, right? And Russell's got an easy read right here. He's got Van Ness working here. You're going to have a running back coming out here. He's working on former Seahawks Shedd. Sets him up outside. Nice patience. And I like how he broke the route off, Rondé. When you can break that route off that crisp, makes it more difficult for a DB to close.
You're absolutely right. And here's your hands to the face up here, top of your screen. Inconsequential in the outcome of the play, but that's the call. Yeah. See what they were trying to set up at the top of the screen, Chris. You said a lot of offenses put that pick route away from the guy that they're really intending to throw the football to in the tight end.
It's all about I mean, this whole NFL stuff nowadays, everything's a matchup.
40 is eligible. 74 is eligible.
It's interesting you say that too, Chris, because you know these Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia's defense is 100% about matchups.
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, that's what everybody does.
We've got a stoppage here There was a conversation on the Lions sideline, and I think they're going to challenge whether or not Nick Vanette completed the catch.
Well, I think either way is a first down. You got the penalty.
Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Boy.
Oh, no, that's a drop.
That's a drop for sure, Chris.
But they declined the penalty. What does that mean?
All right, so 14:51 to go in the fourth. They review the catch by Nick Vanette. It is not a catch. This pass is incomplete. However, you can then go back and re-accept the penalty, which they have done in Seattle as a result of the penalty. Loses a little yardage on the no catch, but gets a first down on the penalty.
I'm going to tell you why he threw the flag after this play. Red flag.
It's called a professional broadcast tease from Chris Spielman. Russell Wilson off play action, going up top, going deep for Moore, who's got it on the sideline. First and goal, Seattle.
Unless they hit a deep one. Then I'll get back to that later.
Well, it's Tease Tabor just getting beat again, and he's down at the bottom of the screen, and it's just, you see this stack. Look, this is the matchup that we're paying attention to here. He just gets run away from by David Moore. He's in pretty good position, but as soon as he gets out of phase, Russell Wilson put that ball in the air, and he just continues to break out as a young receiver on this Seattle offense.
So it's important to note, too, one of the areas where Tease struggled, he's a physical corner at Florida coming out. He was a high 4'7" guy. Now, I guarantee you, there's maybe one guy in the league, and he's playing right here, that's a 4'7" corner. He makes up for it in technique. But it's the same thing we talked about. It's all about matchups. They found a matchup they like. They're going to exploit it.
Timeout taken by Seattle. We're back right after this message. Seattle with a first and goal at the 7-yard line. They get the long pass down to David Moore right after the challenge flag was thrown on the sideline by Matt Patricia.
So one of the reasons why, you know you're going to get incomplete, you know they're going to get the first down, you slow the offense and slow the momentum out of the offense. By throwing a flag, you're not risk losing the flag because your guy in the boots is saying it's incomplete, and what it does, it gives your defense and that man a chance to regroup and rest a second. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because it was down the field again to David Moore.
So now first and goal at the 7-yard line. Chris Carson with the carry. And Carson going into the end zone for 6.
Running for reps and paychecks.
Wow. What a run. This kid continues to impress now. For a guy that has this kind of jump cut ability and explosion and quickness, he's just going to run right through here and say, I'm taking on all comers. Doesn't matter who it is, linebacker, safety, and this point it's Quandre Diggs and Jared Davis. No chance to stop that rushing bull there.
And how about the offensive line, boys? I mean, stand up and take a bow, guys. And when you see that, effort and that toughness, the only thing that does, that's the offensive line's reward. They love that.
Sebastian Janikowski with the extra point. Chris Carson with his first touchdown run of the day, and an emphatic way to hit the century mark on the ground, bowling over tacklers for 6.
Hey, Cougs, you know what 32 Carson's doing there this week? Something you never do. He's actually buying dinner. Because
I was told that you didn't have to do that when you were a young running back or a young play-by-play guy.
I don't know what world you're in, but this is the NFL, baby. Rookies buy. He's buying, and I tell you, he needs to reward that offensive line of how well they played. Bring it out.
Amir Abdullah trying to make a play. Abdullah with a little crease. And Amir Abdullah with a good return. Flags come flying in as Abdullah's down near the 43-yard line. Akeem King on the tackle after the 45-yard return, but a hold's going to bring this one back.
It's like a costly penalty.
Holding number 35 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Miles Killebrew with the hold. This offensive line, you mentioned it, Chris, has really been rolling of late.
So when you run, it gives you a chance to be aggressive. Sweezy, Ifedi, Fluker, Hunt, Dwayne Brown. Here's the thing. When you have to pass block 50 times a game, or you're throwing the ball 68% of the time in the game, all you're doing is absorbing blows. When you run the football, has an offensive line, it finally gives you a chance to be the hitter, has constantly been the hittee.
Well, you saw all the changes on that offensive line too, and really that last combination has been the one that's gotten the results that they've been looking for early in the year. I thought it was very interesting what Pete Carroll said this week about holding the offense back. They had a different interpretation of what they thought they would be able to do as an offensive line, and to me, and I think to Chris as well, it was, we think we can pass block, let Russell Wilson be the impetus for us on offense. Instead, they go right back to the blueprint that made them so successful all those years in the past: run the football with a solid offensive line.
So a 28-yard penalty, as it turns out, back to the 15-yard line. That one dropped by Tate with Wagner on the coverage.
So that's things are going bad, huh? When Tate's dropping passes, Cougs?
Only 2 catches today for 18 yards for Golden Tate, and they started off with such a tremendous start. 13-play, 91-yard touchdown drive, but since then, been spinning their wheels at Ford Field.
And they're not getting the ball. It's 27-18 as far as TOP. Time of possession.
Luke Wilson, the former Seahawk, with the grab of the 19-yard line. KJ Wright right there to make the stop. Just a 4-yard gain.
I see what you did with that comment there, Kevin. That was clever.
Thank you. The ball control for Seattle and the success that Seattle has had as a result. This has been the recipe for the Seahawks over the last now 5 games.
You know what? That's the recipe that 31 other teams want in this National Football League. Even Kansas City. Everybody strives to have balance.
Stafford sits in the pocket. Fingertip grab, Kerryon Johnson with a first down. That's the only way they're able to get Kerryon Johnson going today, not on the run, but in the pass game.
Well, he's their best weapon. He's been the most consistent, and just find ways to get this dude the football. He's going to be matched up on KJ Wright on this check down. You see him squeeze out of the backfield right there. He's in mid. I'm sorry, that's on Bobby Wagner. He just runs away from him. So I think you got to find a way to get him more involved. He's the only one producing for this offense right now.
Amir Abdullah in at running back. First time we've seen Amir at running back today is Golden Tate with the grab. McDougal on the tackle at the 41-yard line, pickup of 7.
So I talked about the trio of wide receivers. You see Bradley McDougal slow getting up. The trio of receivers is a weapon for this Detroit Lions team. So before that catch, you look at the Lions receiving yards. Tate had 2, Jones had 3, and Golladay had 1. Okay, and that, you know, that's because they haven't had great opportunities, but it's done such a great job of the back 7 of Seattle's defense. And the other thing that makes their defensive zone coverage so effective, they rarely bring 5 guys. They have a lot of trust in their 4-man pressures, and it helps you put another guy in coverage to take away a lot of these wide receivers. And they protected everything except for the first play, or first touchdown pass that went over their head.
Couldn't agree with you more, buddy.
Delano Hill in for McDougal. Stafford, swing pass, Johnson on the sideline, first down, chased out by KJ Wright.
And the one thing about all that zone coverage, and trust me, I was a defender on a defense that played almost exclusively zone defense. You have to be able to account for that running back squeaking out into the pass routes. And when you're dropping guys 6-7 yards deep off the ball, that guy is going to be available.
Look at Bobby Wagner. That's the definition of Tampa 2 by pre-alignment. You're the expert on that.
Stafford with a little pace going now for the Lions as Johnson finding a little bit of room and down to the 46-yard line of Seattle.
I want to hear Tampa 2 from the guy that was an expert at Tampa 2.
There you go. 2 safeties back. It's really like 3 deeps, because then your middle linebackers through the middle of the field. An important part of that defense, Tampa 2 is those underneath defenders. In this case, it's the nickelback and the other linebacker.
On 2nd and 3 at the 46. Stafford with time in the pocket, but nobody open. He's going to have to flush. Stafford throwing a wobbler towards the end zone, and the pass incomplete.
Got a late flag, Kev. They're going to get somebody for hitting Stafford late.
Jacob Martin is the guy who got there a beat late, it looked like.
Well, when you're excited and you don't get to play much, and Jacob Martin's a rookie out of Temple, fast guy, you got to be able to have the discipline of understanding where you are in the game.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And he's going to learn. I mean, young guys right there are hungry, their effort. He's getting some time to play. He's going to bring speed. He's going to chase Matt Stafford down. And right now he's thinking, man, I've run all this way, getting double teamed. I got a chance to get a shot. I'm going to take a shot. Now, I think he would have been okay if he keeps his left arm down. He doesn't need to put his left arm up. I get what you're trying to block the shot, but You got to be smart, and he'll learn from that.
Yep, and Jacob Martin's a guy that's getting a lot more playing time in their sub packages. Whenever they get in those rush situations, you get two really fast defensive ends really trying to collapse that pocket. And like we've said earlier in the game, you're a rusher, got your ears pinned back and ready to go hunt, and that's what those two dudes are looking to do.
Clear game.
From the 31 on first down. Stafford throws it short and down at the 25-yard line. Bobby Wagner with the tackle of Golden Tate.
And I think Seattle's defense is willing to give them this. It's just bleed them slow, right? Let them work their way down the field. Don't give up anything over the top. You don't want quick scores if you're the Seattle defense here. Keep everything in front, come up and make tackles.
Hold. Andy's dropping. Yeah.
2nd and 4. Stafford again with play action. Amir Abdullah trying to find the first down yardage. He does to the 19-yard line.
Nobody drops 8 better than Seattle.
No question.
Even their defensive line understand zone defense.
You're exactly right.
That
Chris.
time they took Jaron Reed, number 90, and let him play a little bit of coverage. They're willing to give this up. This is all garbage yards for them. They don't care.
Clock continuing to run that whole time as well, down to 10:55 and counting. Stafford in the pocket looking for Tate again. This one incomplete. Wagner out there on the coverage. Wagner just became second all-time in Seahawks history in tackles, now in pass coverage.
Bobby Wagner there sitting in the middle of the field, and with zone coverage, I don't think there's a better dropper. He's so instinctive. Not only does he not cover grass like you like to say, Chris, the route combinations, figuring out what they're trying to do to you and then being able to react to it. And like you said numerous times today, just turning zone into man.
There he is. Playing a little safety right now, Rondé. Looking like a barber out there.
Stafford off the play fake, looking for Jones in the end zone. He drags the foot, and it's a touchdown. Second touchdown today for Marvin Jones Jr.
Read the corner, throw the corner. Now what 26 Jack Griffin is doing, I have no idea. Understand the game, where you are. He's going to let him go, and Matt Stafford's reading him. As soon as he sees him let him go, he's got to get depth with him. There's no threat underneath. If there's no threat for a corner underneath, you have to help get depth because you have a young safety back there because McDougal's out of the game.
Absolutely. And the one hard part for young corners is understanding that it's not just playing a loose two. You have to find a way to get that ball to check down into the flat. Really good throw by Matthew Stafford, understanding that they were in cover 2, and that's where the soft spot of the defense is.
The Raiders' extra point brings it to a 2-score game as Matthew Stafford and Marvin Jones hook up for the second time. Good days for both quarterbacks. Russell Wilson still holding on to that perfect passer rating. Matthew Stafford threw on every play of that 10-play drive. He was 8 for 10 on the drive for 70 yards, now 2 touchdowns and 243 yards on the day for Matthew Stafford. 28-14. Seattle up 2 scores. And the touchback will bring the Seahawks out to the 25-yard line with 10:40 remaining. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks back to work. That run game today, mentioned it when he went in for the score, but Chris Carson right at 100 yards rushing now with that touchdown. It's the 3rd time this year that Carson has topped the 100-yard mark, but he'll start on the sidelines.
So let's talk about the mentality of a defense right now. You got to start bringing run blitzes. And why? Because you want to start gang tackling. You want to secure the tackle with the first man in. The second man comes in and starts stripping the football. You have to create either some type of field position or at least a 3 and out. In order to do that, this man right there needs to gamble.
First down, Davis gets 4 as we check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Jameis Winston had a rough day for the Bucs. This is his 4th interception of the game. It's a pick 6. Jesse Bates takes it in for the score. He has been benched. Ryan Fitzpatrick now in at quarterback for the Bucs. They are in a huge hole at the start of the 4th quarter at Cincinnati. And welcome to Fox, Kevin Kugler.
Thank you, Kurt Menefee. Pleasure to be here.
Fitzmagic. Does he have it for the fourth quarter, Rondé? You're down there.
Wow. Going to need 18 points of Fitzmagic to get that one tied. 2nd and 6. Davis, good patience. Both of these backs show terrific patience. And it's 3rd and 1.
I want to show you what window dressing is, Cougs. You'll like this, right? You get this in Nebraska. Look how far these guys are out. They're way outside the numbers. The only reason is to spread these guys out to create running lanes. The Lions aren't biting it because they still have enough guys in here to defend and run. But that's just managing a football game and putting your players in position to win by trying to get the Lions screwed up in formation by spreading 4 wide receivers out past the numbers, as you see Christian Jones being tended to by the Lions training staff. Right, Rondé, you're too smart for that, right? You saw those guys outside, and what are they going to run here?
Right.
Come on. Got nothing on Rondé.
Quick timeout in Detroit. Christian Jones was able to walk off under his own power, but the athletic training staff of the Lions tending to him on the sidelines. Jalen Reeves-Maben in now for Detroit on a critical 3rd and 1 for this Lions D. Seattle's been awfully good on 3rd down today and over the last 2 weeks. Look at this.
It's amazing.
That is. And that's winning football. That's how you control the time of possession. And you do that a lot by running the football, having success on 1st and 2nd down. And same situation we got here sets up a 3rd and very short.
15 for 21 the last 2 games on 3rd down, and on 3rd and 1. Carson trying to find it. He didn't get there.
Great job by the front 3, freeing Jared Davis to make a tackle in a hole. It's all about eating, being space eaters, eating up blockers. That's why Harrison was brought in here. Here's Harrison right here. The other guys do a great job. Watch Jared. Jared just is nice and patient, doesn't panic. Watch him get his seat set, disengage, and make a tackle along with Quandre Diggs, I believe that is.
Yes, it is.
All Quandre is, the football player.
Yes, he is.
But that's a well-executed defense of keeping things clean for unblocked players to make tackles in the hole.
And what a time for Detroit's 10th 3-and-out forced all year. They don't do it often, but they picked a good time for this one as Brandon Powell on the return. And Powell at the 21-yard line after the 51-yard punt.
Come on, lights. Gotcha.
8:27 remaining in the 4th. Chris Spielman, Rondé Barber, I'm Kevin Kugler. Little life now for the Lions thanks to a defensive stop. Now the offense going back to work.
Yeah, they need it. And I'm just looking at this Seattle team. A couple of things I noticed. First of all, Russell Wilson is not a big guy. It just amazes what he does. And this is the most efficient offense that I've watched this year. And yes, I did a game at Kansas City, but you just look at the numbers because Kansas City throws on chucking the ball a little bit. They count on that. This team relies on run first. And how many times would you say that about anybody, Rondé, in today's football?
Stafford on 1st down. Jones open to the 40-yard line.
Well, now it's time for Matthew Stafford to show us what he is as a quarterback. In 4 successive weeks, they have reduced the number of passes for Matthew Stafford because of the run game. But down in this football game now, it's going to be on the strength of his arm and his creativity for them to get back into this football game.
1st down and 10 at the 40-yard line. Lions with a little pace here. Down 2 scores, under 8 minutes to play. Stafford with a 4-man rush. Stafford to the sideline. Good catch by Jones and out of bounds at the Seattle 46. Another 1st down. 14 more through the air.
It's a great route by Marvin Jones. Just working on Trey Flowers on the outside and just gets him turned around a little bit here. A little think out and out. No way to cover that. That's a well-executed route. His quarterback knew exactly what that combination was going to give him. That space. He gets his feet down. Got a little drive going here.
You know what the subtle movement was? His head looking inside, turned the corner, shoulders, and he broke it out. That's details in route running.
6th catch for Jones, 103 yards on the afternoon. Stafford as Seattle brings pressure. Stafford under heat, gets away. Throws it away, looking for Tate as we check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Cam Newton trying to get this Carolina team rolling. 12-yard touchdown run against Baltimore, and look out for them. They're on the verge of going to 5-2. They're up 33-14. It's getting late in the 4th quarter. Kevin, Rondé, Chris, and Shannon.
All right, Kurt, thanks so much. Yeah, Carolina, impressive today. 33-14 right now over Baltimore.
That's an interesting division. The Saints lost opening week and have been on a tear since then, so Carolina needs to keep up.
2nd and 10 for the Lions at the Seahawks 46. Stafford facing a 4-man rush. Stafford in trouble. Ball knocked out. Loose ball. Seahawks have it at the 46-yard line. Jaron Reed with the strip and the recovery for Seattle.
Well, Jaron Reed just does a great job staying in the fight. You see him right in the middle of your screen right here. And he's blocked. I'm sorry, it's the other defensive tackle. Just staying in the fight. And when Matthew Stafford starts to run, it's just a little dink, just touches it. You don't have to get the quarterback on the ground to get a sack called. Fumble works just as well. This opportunistic Seattle's defense comes away with another takeover. This has been the catalyst for them all season long, taking the ball away, giving it back to their offense, who's still working really well today.
You know, that's just a breakdown in fundamentals. I don't care what the situation is. In the pocket, quarterbacks are taught to keep 2 hands on the football. Matthew Stafford was running around back there. Nobody hit the ball out. He dropped the football. That ball wasn't hit out of there. And when you're in that pocket, when you're scrambling, moving up, 2 hands on the ball. That's just a little fundamental thing that I'm sure he'll work on.
Detroit had only lost 1 fumble entering today. They've lost 2 in this game. That one absolutely huge. Frank Clark on the recovery, and now on 1st down, about 3 to the 48-yard line for Chris Carson. Harrison on the tackle.
Carson at the century mark. That's another dinner you'll have to buy, Kevin. I mean, Chris Carson will have to buy. Did you know that?
I said now I have to buy Chris Carson dinner?
Yeah, well, no, the next game you do with us, you got to buy 2 dinners now, because you know that if a running back goes over 100 yards, the play-by-play guy buys.
These are rules that I believe you were making up on the fly, Chris Spielman.
Hey, 40, Larry, 40.
On 2nd and 8, Wilson under some pressure. Wilson is sacked. Robinson and Harrison pushing the pocket on Russell Wilson.
A little surprised that they're dropping back to throw the football there, huh, Chris? It's got 2-touchdown lead, and you know Damon Harrison's right in the middle of the field here, and he just, again, stays in the fight. Coverage is good on the back end. He just falls into one.
Interesting, Russell Wilson not throwing it away by taking the sack. Usually you don't want to do that, but the one thing Kevin Kugler knows, it keeps the clock running, so that's a good decision. And at this point in time, when you're up by 2 scores, to eat the ball as opposed to throwing it away, taking the incompletion. Screen or draw. There's a draw.
And there's Davis kind of hop through the opening on the right side. Devon Kennard closing it quickly. And it's 4th down, but that clock continuing to run. 5:20 and counting to go in the 4th. Lions will get it back as Brandon Powell goes back to receive the punt for the Lions. Seattle trying to close out its 4th win in 5 games. The only loss in that time was to the Rams.
And that was a shootout.
And you did that game,
yeah,
right?
That was a shootout.
They're in it.
We didn't think that Seattle would be able to keep pace with the Rams offense, but they definitely did. And they did it running the football. It was impressive.
So the Lions starting at their own 10-yard line with a lot of work to do and only 4:45 to do it. Well, the World Series continuing tonight, Game 5. Dodgers have to win to keep it going. The Red Sox are trying to close it out, claim another World Series title. Red Sox and Dodgers Game 5 tonight after football on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
I'll actually watch that. I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I'll watch this. And Red Sox are champions. I even watched last night, Coops. Champions die hard, man. They're not going away without a fight.
You were watching baseball last night?
Yes. Yeah.
Matthew Stafford and Clayton Kershaw grew up together, so you know Matthew Stafford's got a rooting interest that probably has not anything to do with the Red Sox tonight. 4th start for Stafford and the Lions offense inside the 10-yard line. And Stafford over the middle to Golden Tate. It's the 5th catch for Tate. at the 15-yard line. Bobby Wagner on the tackle. Seattle more than happy to give Golden Tate that short pass over the middle.
Talk about stat getters. Stafford will get some stats here. Guess who else gets stats? Bobby Wagner. Those are easy tackles.
Second down, Stafford to the sideline. Jones with the catch and a first down. Shaquille Griffin out there on the coverage.
And again, Shaquille Griffin's he's going to play all these saves. Trey Flowers saw it on the other side on that completion to Marvin Jones too. Do not let anything go over your head. You can complete these things all day long if you want to at this point in this game.
Yeah, not like the 2 series before when he let the guy get behind him, right? Deep is the deepest.
Stafford firing deep, looking for Jones, his favorite target today, and the pass is incomplete, and there's a flag. McDougald on the coverage, and a flag is thrown.
Wow, I don't know about that one now.
Is Marvin laughing because he said he got away with one?
Pete Carroll can't believe it either.
Number 30, defense, automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
And McDougald flagged here as he gets it from Griffin.
Griffin's playing cover 2, so he's just going to let this guy go. And you see he does a better job staying underneath that route. But these are the second reaction plays that Matthew Stafford has always been good at. His receivers know, just take off down the field. He has the arm strength to pump it down there. And there's the contact that they're calling pass interference.
He hooked the arm. Yeah, he hooked the arm, Rondé. I mean, I get it. Did you see? Did Griffin slow up?
Well, I think Griffin's a flat defender. That's the point. He's turning it over to the deep safety, the half-field safety there, Bradley McDougald. I mean, if he turns around and finds the ball, I guess they don't throw that pass. That's a hook, but not very much of one. I don't know if that's a pass interference in my book.
Turns out to be a 56-yard penalty, and it gives the Lions some life. Stafford, Tate. Tate can't break away at the 10-yard line. Justin Coleman able to stay with him. Not easy to do when you're trying to tackle Golden Tate around the ankles. He has a strong running back's lower body. And 14 yards after catch, though, for Golden Tate, who's led the NFL in yards after catch for the last 4 years.
Michael Roberts, 2 touchdowns in the red zone last week.
Second and 4. There he is. The end zone deflected and incomplete. Almost off the deflection to Michael Roberts.
There's a reason why you alert Michael Roberts, and they're going to run a little combination route away from trips with Kerryon Johnson. Stafford trusts him in the red zone. He does a little out and in route. The ball was thrown behind because of Bobby Wagner understanding where he is on the field, knowing that if I can circle Roberts before the play, Bobby Wagner certainly knows to target him before the play.
And a good break, too, by Bradley McDougald there, who got that pass defense. But Roberts almost came down with that spectacular deflection for a catch, though.
On 3rd and 4, Stafford going to scramble. Stafford with a lot of room and a first down. Sliding at the 4, it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, smart play by Matthew Stafford, not forcing it. And every defender knows, Chris, you can speak to this, every quarterback becomes a runner in the red zone.
1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Lions hustling up. Stafford on the roll. Throws for the end zone, and it's intercepted by Coleman. What a pick by Justin Coleman to take it away from the Lions at the 1.
Well, pre-snap read is how Justin Coleman makes this. When you get an offset back down in the red zone, you almost always get speed out. There's an offset back in here, so they're going to go like this, and Justin Coleman just sprints underneath this thing. This is a fantastic play, smart, heady play. Look at him, he's going right now, and Matthew Stafford thinks he can squeeze it in there. I don't know if he saw Justin Coleman or not, but that is an awesome interception by this Seattle defense.
Watch this, a nice little 1, 2, and 3.
For safe measure.
But perfect.
Boy, he wish he has that back, right? The thing is, when he pumped that football, because he was looking deep route to short route. So when he didn't go deep route, that allowed the defender to get depth underneath the short route to constrict the throwing lane that Matthew Stafford had to Golden Tate.
He absolutely needed that. That's a killer right there. You have a chance to go down 1 score. If you score a touchdown in this drive, maybe get the ball back on an onside kick or whatnot, but interception in the red zone, that's losing football.
On 1st down, and the carry for Trey Madden. Just his 2nd carry of the year. Clock begins for Seattle to roll, up 28-14. Seattle +3 in turnover differential today. They came in second in the league at +7.
Yeah,
it's been a big key for Seattle.
Oh, so I mean, it's cliche, right? Hey, coaches, we go into coach and production meeting. What do you got to do to win? All right, we go from a midget league, or excuse me, little league, to the NFL. We got to run the ball. We got to win a turnover battle. Well, they live it. Those guys on the other sidelines in the white shirts live it. They're a well-coached football team, and Pete Carroll's been doing it for a long time.
On second down, again, it's Madden. And now a timeout will be utilized by the Lions. Well, this Seahawks squad under Pete Carroll in the first 2 weeks, this was a problem. And you looked at the formula, 68% pass plays, but since that time, it's completely flipped, and the run-heavy Seahawks are winning games.
Well, we've had this graphic up a couple of weeks ago when they played Los Angeles. This number, these two numbers have not changed. There is a definite emphasis to run the football. We know that Russell Wilson's 14-17 today. He hasn't been asked to do a lot in the passing game, but he's been so successful. And look at that. Look at the play selection. That's Brian Schottenheimer, really been taking the cuffs off by his head coach, saying, don't throw the ball, run the ball. And he told us, Pete Carroll told us, if there's a guy in the NFL that knows how to run the football and emphasize it, it's Brian Schottenheimer.
I thought it was interesting that Pete took responsibility for wanting to throw the ball in those first 2 games. And
Carson going nowhere, and he's stacked up with a timeout used by the Lions.
the only thing I can say about that, that's a man securing his job. And when the head coach comes out and says, I've been screwing this offense up, I got to get out of the way, and he did.
Well, what it does really is it takes the pressure off your offensive coordinator. People start or want to make quick decisions, right, and rash reactions about play calling and why you're losing. Russell Wilson took all those sacks those first 2 weeks of the season. And so, look, you're a head coach. You're trying to build your football team. It'd be so easy, and we've seen it across the league. Other head coaches try to throw their coordinators under the bus. Pete Carroll does not play that game. He knows it's a team aspect to this football team, and he gives the responsibility where it is. And I think as a player, and definitely as one of his coaches, you have to appreciate that.
Well, don't forget America's Game of the Week coming up, Packers and Rams. Some of you will see 49ers and Cardinals when we're done here in Detroit. Pete Carroll telling us yesterday, which I thought was really interesting. He said, we became so enamored with how Russell looked coming out of the preseason. He was throwing the ball so well.
Yeah, I get it.
And you're going to ride that, but preseason and regular season, very different. Dixon's going to run. Dixon looking for the first down, and he's got it.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Michael Dixon on 4th down, up 2 touchdowns from his end zone, runs for the first. How about Michael Dixon putting a capper on this game for Seattle with a fake punt?
Well, watch the blocking. Look, it's just well designed. You see the long snapper right there come out and set the edge just in case there's a guy there. That is a gutsy call by Pete Carroll. Wow.
Well, Michael Dixon ends up running for a first down on the fake punt, but Chris, you weren't 100% sure this was supposed to be a fake.
Well, I think he had an option right there. At the very least, what he was going to do is take a safety. You take a safety, it's still a 2-possession ball game. So that's what I think the mindset of Coach Carroll was on that. Then if he felt like he can get the first down, go get it, and he did. He had options there.
Well, a comeback brewing, perhaps. Carissa with a little bit more on that in our Fox studios in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Kevin. So Cincinnati we go. Ryan Fitzpatrick in for Jameis Winston, who was benched for bad play after 4 interceptions. Fitzpatrick to Mike Evans for that 72-yard touchdown. We got a close game here, 34-26. Kevin?
You know who else is going to be happy, Rondé, if they trade Jameis and bring Fitzmagic back in? Number 11. We might not be demanding trades down there. Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I tell you what.
There's a chemistry, right, between Jackson and Fitzmagic as opposed to Jackson and Jameis. Those two never seem to get on the same page since he's been there. Am I wrong in that assessment?
You're definitely right. Deshaun Jackson has way more involvement in the passing game with Ryan Fitzpatrick than Jameis Winston, but at the end of the day, they always got Mike Evans, a guy that's big and strong like that, but still making these long touchdown receptions from Fitzmagic is pretty impressive.
Get better, too.
Davis. Lions are out of timeouts. Davis going to cut it back and does stay in bounds. Smart play by Mike Davis as Ashawn Robinson there to make the tackle. So a 28-14 lead for the Seahawks. Our game summary, Russell Wilson started with 10 straight completions, a career high. Seattle holding Detroit to a season low 34 yards rushing, 28 points in the middle of the game before the Lions were able to put another touchdown on the board, and the turnovers for the Lions have come at critical times.
I think you just nailed it, Kevin. This game looked like one that Matthew Stafford and his offense was going to be able to get back into with some plays here toward the end, but the turnovers have just been killer for this football team. And this is Reeves-Maybin, who came into the game when Christian Jones got hurt, and looks like he's struggling here too. And I mean, I know it's the end of the game, but they're running out of linebackers here.
Now only 5 linebackers up if Jones and Reeves-Maybin are not able to go. See what happened here. Bent backwards. I mentioned earlier Christian Jones was being helped to the athletic training side. Shannon Spake with an update.
Yeah, the official word is questionable for Jones' return, but I did watch him when he was on the sideline. They were looking at that left knee, as you guys mentioned. He was walking up and down the sideline, trying to walk it off, but in a lot of pain while he was doing that. They have brought him to the locker room for more evaluation, but questionable is the official word.
Well, he looks like he's like you, Shannon. He's training for that New York Marathon that you're going to be running into next week. Sore hamstring and all, but you'll tough it out. I know you'll play hurt.
Reeves-Maybin on his way to the sideline. Back we go to Los Angeles and check in again with Carissa.
Thanks, Kevin. So Redskins up 13-6 when Alex Smith hands it off to Adrian Peterson, and he will do the rest. 64-yard touchdown, his second touchdown of the day. Redskins up in this one 19-6. Kevin.
Look at the old man run.
Yeah, fountain of youth in Washington, D.C. for Adrian Peterson.
I know you talked to Adrian. You ever met Adrian Peterson?
I have. He's the hardest handshake of any human being I've ever met. I met him when he was in college, and my hand still hurts.
I'd rather have my hand slammed against an offensive guard and an offensive tackle than shake hands with Adrian Peterson. It's less painful.
Yeah. How about the Redskins, man? These guys change quarterbacks, bringing Alex Smith, and then really the impetus for their resurgence is a 35-year-old running back.
And finally they discovered that your defense is not optional.
Good point.
Not a dirty word either.
Yes.
125 and counting to go in this one, and the Seahawks about to go to 4-3, and Seattle with a 4 out of 5 in the win column. And the month of November is going to be a huge month for this Seattle Seahawks squad. It'll really separate them from contender or pretender in the month of November.
Well, I think it's the proving ground, and they've had it, right? They've had to prove themselves against some pretty weak competition at quarterback, but these guys that are coming in here now are hot. I don't know if there's a better quarterback in the league than Phillip Rivers. You're not talking a lot about him. And we know what Jared Goff is. And Cam Newton, buddy, watch out. He's leading his team as good as anybody right now as well.
Now that's your month of November for the Seahawks. Chargers, Rams, Packers, and Panthers. Not an easy task. One of those games, a Thursday night game in the middle of there against Green Bay. So you're going to have a short week of prep coming off the Rams to Green Bay.
Talk about the great quarterbacks. And yeah. I've made a statement on broadcast that Aaron Rodgers is my guy that of all time. Yeah, you're pointing to Russell. Russell's obviously getting better and better in his 7th year, I believe, and only getting better. And look at how he's saving his body, though, Ron. I mean, he came into this game with 17 rushing attempts.
Yeah, it's a great point, Chris.
That's this totally different team.
There's 2 carries today for Russell Wilson. He's certainly not going to carry it here as Mike Davis gets the tackle at the 21-yard line. And Pete Carroll, after the first 2 games, no slowing down Pete Carroll. He got this team revamped, retooled, and pointed in the right direction again. All of a sudden, they're 4-3.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's 70-something going on about 45, and he's got more energy than both of us.
I'm going to throw him at 67. I'm not going to throw him 70. You know things are going well when he's high-fiving officials and telling, hey, great job today.
You go out to
you're winning the game.
You go out to his practice, there is not a more energetic coach around than him. It's unbelievable.
No, he's having fun with the officials. He's asking, yeah, you almost got me with that interference call. that Rondé didn't like up in the booth.
You didn't see that kind of camaraderie with the officials in games 1 or 2 of the 2018 season.
He's a great football coach.
Yes,
he really is,
man. Yes, he is.
Why I like him, because he learned a lot from his previous stops and he adjusted to what he does, and that's why he's where he is today.
Now, Pete Carroll and the Seahawks are going to have a happy flight home. This is not an easy thing to do, to go from west to east, but Pete Carroll and the Seahawks have been able to do it and win more times than not on those trips to the East Coast, or the Eastern time zone, as it were.
The other thing of note that I think is important, finds a good coach and a staff. They're 6-3 after this win today off of bye weeks. So he knows how to rest his team, get him ready to go, and come east, young man. Go east, not west. Come east, Rondé.
That's where we live, buddy.
No fake this time for Dixon as he uncorks this punt to the 20-yard line. And not much room for Brandon Powell. Good tackle by Akeem King. Very fired up about it with 6 seconds to go in this ball game. One more snap. The Lions will fall to 3-4. The Seahawks to 4-3. But really, it's one of those games, guys, that the win or the loss are not going to make or break your season. Certainly helps to win. You want to win this game, but the Lions at 3-4 are not done by any stretch of the means in their division.
Not at all. And there's still some questions. First-year coach figuring out the scheme, but you don't feel bad about the Detroit Lions at this point. Yes, this was not the performance that they wanted here, especially at home against a team in Seattle that was really in the same situation as them, 3-3, being kind of hot, but this was a kind of test your metal type of game, and Seattle came out with more energy, plain and simple.
There's Golden Tate, and Tate on what will be the final play of the game. That one pops out, and the whistles are blowing. This ball game is over, and the Detroit Lions fall 28-14. That's not going to stop Seattle.
No, go in.
Playing a little game.
Take it in. They're going to call a touchdown here, too.
Taking it in, rolling in for 6. The officials are not even paying attention to this at this point. The game is over. The whistles were blown. The final is 28-14, and Seattle moves to 4-3. Lions fall to 3-4. Now, Chris Spielman, Rondé Barber, Shannon Spake, our entire NFL on Fox crew, thanks so much for joining us. Our State Farm Game Break from Los Angeles coming up next on Fox.